Okay, great. All right, everybody, we'll go ahead and get started. Welcome to Cover Two. Um, got a really good broadcast in store. We're going to dive into those run game fits. We're going to knock out the run. Most people don't think you can knock out the run in Cover Two. We're going to go through the run game rules, and give you some tools to put in your tool chest. Not to say you should run Cover Two all the time, but I happen to like it, and we'll give you some tools in which to use to help you execute it and give you some more options. Um, Today, I got a. Of course, I have putting together my team here with Cover Two. So I have my good friend Fal Sarkar, who's with us, who will be helping to organize the questions and logistics here, and also have a special guest, third-year NFL player, linebacker, played for the Cincinnati Bengals. My son, Hardy Nickerson Jr., will be joining us to chat it up. Kind of, you'll get a feel for what we do pretty much every day. Every mealtime, we sit down and especially around dinner and talking about run fits and all those things. So we got some good stuff for you. Um, just going through what we got. So let's dive in. Oh, wait a minute. Before I do that, I almost forgot. You have some tools available to you on this webinar. You have the ability to raise your hand. You can raise your hand. You can post a question. All right. Raise your hand, post your question. If you have video, you can turn your video on. If you can turn your when we do a little Q&A. Uh, we'll try to get to you. We'll try to get to everyone with the questions and answers. But if you post your question, we'll try to answer those in the order that they've come in. We'll try to get to as many of those as possible. So that's what we have going on, so those are your tools there. While we're talking about those tools, you can chat there. Let's have everybody chat. All right, chat their city and state. Let's run through that real quick. I'm originally from Compton, California. I am with this broadcast. I'm currently in Oakland, California. So that's where this broadcast is coming from. So let us know. Go ahead and open up your Q&A or your chat window and go ahead and let us know where you're from, city and state. Very interesting. In the registration process, we've got people from all over the country, nationwide. So that is very exciting. We'll give a couple seconds for everyone to go ahead and do that.
Yeah, a lot of cities coming in: Manhattan, Kansas; St. Peter, Minnesota; Phoenix.
Manhattan, Kansas. How about that? St. Petersburg, St. Petersburg or St. Paul?
What did I say? St. Peter, Minnesota.
St. Peter. Okay.
Yeah,
that's great.
Indianola, Mississippi; Philly; Redondo Beach, California; from all over. Corbin, Kentucky.
Corbin, Kentucky. Redondo Beach is in the house. That's awesome. Okay. Good stuff, guys. Great stuff. Don't forget, type in your city and state.
Yeah, I think we got a lot, so you can.
Awesome. We'll get moving here. Okay, so like I said, welcome to Cover Two. We got a lot we want to cover real fast, or not real fast, but in this hour-long webinar. Today's session outline, just so if you're sitting in the meeting room with me and we're doing an install, this is how it's going to go. All right, we give you your outline coming up, your outline first. All right, we got keys to playing dominating defense. We got alignments. Okay, so we're talking about run rules. We got to talk about, okay, D-line, linebacker alignments, okay? We can also get into some cornerback safety alignments as well. Those will come in as we talk about this. Talk about an over front. We're talking about over two today. All right. Now you can run various fronts. We're talking about over two, something plain simple. We're gonna knock it out. Okay. And we're gonna do that versus 21 personnel, which is 2 backs, 1 tight end, 2 receivers, and 11 personnel, which is 1 back, 1 tight end, and 3 receivers. All right, they kind of get intermingled, especially when you get to your 1 back sets. Okay, those things is kind of, you have those run fits just come together for you. Then we'll have a question of the week, and we'll have a Q&A. Okay, let's dive in. I said this last week, and I'm gonna say it every time. He's playing dominate defense is alignment, assignment, key, technique, and then finishing. Okay, every guy knowing what to do and how to do it, and that requires there being there's a little bit of detail with every position, so every guy make sure he's understanding what he's doing, and so they can get after it. All right, so the alignments, defensive line and linebackers. Let's talk about D-line first. Okay, everything starts up front. Okay, and anything you do, you want to have a very good idea of how you're gonna stop the run and how you're gonna play in the run game. Okay, so you have for defensive line your 0. All right, you got your 0, you got a shade, you got a 2-eye, you got a 2 alignment. Okay, that's head up on the guard. So the 0 is head up on the center, shade is shade in the center. 2-eye is on the inside pad, an alignment that's inside pad of the guard. A 2 is right down the middle of a guard, okay, as we look at it. A 3, okay, you're going to hear me talk about shade, 3 tech, 6 tech, 5 tech, okay. These are other alignments that can be utilized, all right, as you're talking about the play up front. So you have so we talked about 3, a 4-eye, okay, a 4 alignment, all right, a 5 technique, 6-eye, got your 6 and a 9. Okay, and then backside, all right, you got a shade and you got a loose 5. Okay. Now when we get to an over front, that loose 5 isn't very loose. Some people have you talk about a loose 5, and they're about 2 yards outside that offensive tackle. We're talking about being maybe 6 inches, all right, if that, all right, inside foot, outside the outside foot of the tackle. All right, now let's talk a little bit about the linebacker alignments. Okay, those linebacker alignments go, all right, starting from the middle of the line of that line and working our way out. Okay, so as you look at it, we're talking about a strong 0 that's shading the strong side of the center. Oops. Shading the strong side of the center. All right. Then if you're lined right in the A gap, and we're talking about these alignments with linebackers being toes at 4.5 off the ball. Okay, so we're talking about off the ball linebacker play and alignments in these early alignments. Okay, stack A, got a base alignment, head up on the guard. Some people call it a 30. Okay, stack B is right down the middle. A tan, okay, some people call that a 40. All right, right head up on the tackle. Stack C, got a bone alignment. Okay, right head up on the tight end, and that's right at the line of scrimmage. All right, a hip alignment is right in the hip of that defensive end. All right, at normal linebacker depth. Then you have a backer alignment, which is right at the line of scrimmage. You have a seam alignment, wide alignment, press, okay, and a cloud. All right, so those are some of the alignments that you'll kind of come to terminology you hear me throwing out there, just so you're not just hearing something like, whoa, wait, what is that? Okay, now let's get into front talk here. All right, and over front. All right, we're talking about where we're in our alignment, we'll have that under tackle over to the side, all right, of where we wanted to go in the formation. So here we're putting it over to the tight end. Okay, we're moving this under tackle over to that tight end side. Okay, and we're kind of loaded that side. Okay, towards the run strength there. All right, so and how do we get to this? Linebackers, when offense breaks a huddle, they're making some schools of thought are, hey, strong right, strong left, okay, tight end right or tight end left, all right, or I've even heard close calls, close right or close left. I'm more familiar with a close call, all right, to set, and what that does is it just sets the front. It sets where that under tackle's lining up. You know, the shade knows, or nose tackle knows he's going away from the under tackle. All right, bubble's going to be away from where that close call is, and we're rocking and rolling. So here, starting from left to right, we've got a 6 technique. Okay, got a 6 technique, and we're talking about front first. Okay, 6 technique, head up on that tight end, looking right down the middle of him, want to be physical on him, and the main thing for him is he wants to get some knockback. All right, wants to put that guy back on the offensive side of the ball. All right, and then work from there. Okay, he is down the middle of them. By definition, we're calling him a C-gap player. All right, so he's going to be boom, right? Put the screws right underneath the chin, bang. Get that guy locked out, get some knockback, and win in the C-gap area. All right, the under tackle is what I call 3. Okay, outside shade of the guard there. All right, his key read is shoulder tip of the guard. He's gonna be, man, you know, shoulder tip, getting off, uses his hands. All right, the shade. Okay, shade. Some people call it a 1. All right. So for the shade here, okay, all right, he's keying the shoulder tip of the center there. All right, ready to step, use his hands, boom, right there. He's an A-gap player. All right, now we got our 5. What on the card there, or on the alignment sheet, loose 5. Well, we're gonna say 5 technique. Okay, he's in the 5. All right, and he's keying the shoulder tip of the offensive tackle. All right, and he is a C-gap player. Okay, for the linebackers, back up to them. All right, for the wheel linebacker, go left to right now. The wheel linebacker is in that 10 alignment or 40 alignment. Okay, toes at 4.5. All right, and his key in over 2 is going to be the halfback. All right, now his primary key is that, but he also wants to have vision to see the fullback. He's got to see through the lineman to his key read. So he's gonna have a lot in his field of vision right there. But having that initial key read being the halfback, gonna help him a ton. All right. For the Mike linebacker, all right, he's in that strong 0 alignment. All right, strong 10, right? Okay, toes at 4.5. Okay, and his key read is a halfback as well. Okay, seeing through that center, seeing center fullback to the halfback, right? Seeing that whole picture right there. All right. And then for the Sam, he's in that 10 alignment, 40. All right, his key read again is a halfback, and we're moving on from there. So those are their alignments. Okay, you got their key reads. Okay, now, all right, now let's move on into some good stuff. Now we know what their key reads are. So all run plays have some type of run action. You know, where's the back? Where are the back stepping? You know, you get some from the lineman. All right, but where are the backs going? Where the backs are going will tell a whole story. It's going to help everybody out. Okay, as we look at this image here, all right, we have an I formation. Here's your tight end, right? In over front, okay, in an over front, and you got your 6, your 3, your 6 right here, your 3 tech, your shade, all right. I'll write that out. Your shade and your 5 tech. Okay, so that's what you have up front. Now, they're all kin to halfback. Now let's talk about some of these actions for a second here. All right, some of these actions. All right, let's see here. All right, let's go back. So your run rules are gonna go, oops. All right, your run rules are gonna go, all right, both backs to the tight end, which is right there, okay? Tells us what? That is, some people call it strong flow, all right, flow. Both backs to the tight end and over two, all right? And we'll start, we know the D-line play, we talked about that when we talked about the over front just a couple seconds ago. All right, let's talk about the linebacker play, all right? And let's start at the point of attack. We'll start with our wheel linebacker right there, all right? Flow action, okay? He is, let's say we get one of these bounce plays where your fullback is headed outside, all right? He's a track. All right, he'll start with the action, but once he feels the fullback is taking a track where he's going outside of the defensive end or outside the tight end there, he wants to take a track and fit D gap, all right, and spill the ball outside. Okay. All right. Wheel linebacker. All right. Both backs going to the tight end. For the wheel linebacker, he could get this. All right. This is another version of it, right? Lead draw version. Okay, now wheel linebacker, all right, he'll start out ball snap, he'll take his read steps, read his keys, and start his fit. With the fullback tracking up in the A-gap area, now this wheel linebacker wants to go ahead and track, and when he fits in there, he will hammer, okay? So any ball in that A-gap area, he will hammer the ball back inside, all right? Any one of as he's tracking, any ball that's going outside the tight end, he will spill, okay? So that's his run rule, okay? All right? By definition, if I was just writing it up, all right, that type of flow action, both backs going to the tight end, his deal is to track, but if you had to put a track and fit a gap. If it's D gap, he spills. If A gap, he's gonna hammer. Okay. Now for our Mike linebacker, let's talk about this guy, the Mike. Okay. Any action, both backs going to that side. Okay. Mike backer take his read steps. All right. And then he'll work A gap to the ball. Okay. A gap to the ball. All right. So if we do have, like we talked about with the wheel linebacker, we have that track with the fullbacks tracking outside of the tight end, both backs headed in that direction, you know, your simple bounce play here, okay? For the Mike, it's A gap to the ball. Now, you get one of those type of plays, the center is going to be the guy that's going to be trying to climb and cut off the Mike. All right, so the Mike is to win on his outside pad and then on to the football. Who is he going to be fitting with? All right, just looking at it. Our will linebacker's track, he'll spill. Our Mike on this action. All right, the ball going, those bounce plays, ball's going outside right now. All right, he will track and fit over the top of the will linebacker. Boom. Okay, now let's talk about where it's an inside track. We have both backs. Again, this fits in that flow category. All right, both backs fitting up in the A-gap area. The Mike linebacker will take his read steps, and he's an A-gap player. A-gap players always spill the football. Okay, A-gap players always spill the football. So he'll take his read steps, and he'll fit. Boom, he'll spill that. As we talked about a little bit earlier with the will linebacker, all right, Michael spill, will fit, and if he gets the fullback's block, he'll hammer. Okay, Outstanding stuff. Now, let's talk about the guy we haven't talked about yet. All right, let's talk about Sam linebacker. All right, and again, for the Sam, it was this guy right here. Okay, in a Tampa 2 scheme. All right, now, I haven't gone crazy. I haven't bumped my head and kind of forgot where guys are lined up. All right, you know, most people would say that's your Sam, that's your Mike, and that's your Willie, thinking strong side, weak side. When we're talking Tampa 2 ball, it's a little bit different because our will linebacker always travels with the 3 technique. Okay. And our Sam linebacker always goes opposite those 2 guys. Okay. So when we start talking other fronts, you know where those guys are always aligned. So that's why you'll hear me say, that's our Will, that's our Sam. And of course, everybody knows it. Middle guy is Mike. Okay, so let me get to this. As we're talking about this. Okay, so for the Sam linebacker now, talking about that guy right there. Okay, for the Sam, action away, any action away, whether it's that action or that action or this action up in the A gap. For the Sam linebacker, his deal is B gap, read steps, B gap, and then on to the football. So if we have one of those plays that's a bounce play that's going out, headed outside of the tight end here, one of these type of plays here, okay, who's going to try to block him? The tackle's going to take an angle to try to cut him off. He's to work over the top. All right. Stay inside the tackle's block and then on to the football. Okay. If we were to get a more inline play where it's more A gap, lead draw, that type of play, then he is read steps and he is a B gap player. So as we look at it on this play here, all right, Mike, A gap spill, Will, track hammer, Sam, B gap. Okay. And we know that our 6 tech is going to get some knockback when it's C gap. Our 3 tech is going to be strong in that B gap area. Okay. Our shade is going to be strong in the A gap area. We got our Sam coming to B gap and our 5 tech going in the C gap. Got a pretty good wall right there. I think we got a pretty good wall right there. Okay. All right, let's move on. Let's go to, so that is flow action. Okay, flow action. All right. The next action is flood action. Both backs going away from the tight end. All right. Both backs going away from the tight end now. All right. So let's start with the Sam linebacker here. All right. We know that that 5 tech is going to hit. He's going to be a C gap player. Okay. He's telling us, hey, unless the fullback comes right now and pounds my outside shoulder, I'm gonna win and I'm gonna set an edge for you. Okay. All right. So, okay, we got a lead play. Flood run, lead play. Now, for the Sam linebacker, he'll take his read steps and he'll track where the fullback is headed. Of course, his key is right there on the halfback. He'll track and he'll fit. He'll hammer this thing. We like for that Sam linebacker as he's coming to block. We like to meet that right there, bang, right at the line of scrimmage, at least. Okay. So we get the tackle blocking out. We've got a double here. There's zone double here working up. All right. For the Mike, let's talk about the Mike for a second here now. The Mike backer will take his read steps. And now he'll follow his key read, which is the halfback here, and he'll go fast to the B gap. fast to that B gap, knowing that the guard on this doubles, when the moment he shows up, he's going to come off and block him. We still want to win that B gap side of the offensive guard. Okay, the B gap side of the offensive guard. So for the Sam, it's hammer. All right, for the Mike, fast to B. All right, now the guy we haven't talked about yet. Okay, I'm gonna change the pen color here so we can see. See exactly what he's got here. All right, so let's talk about the wheel linebacker now. All right, for the wheel on this action, all right, his initial, reading his keys have gone away from him right now. He'll take his read step, all right, and he wants to work lateral right now. Work lateral to where? Lateral to A gap, okay? Now, as he's working to that A gap, okay, as he's working to that A gap, and he feels like the guard starting to climb, okay, he wants to work that A gap. When he starts to climb, he wants to get close enough to him, or let the guard get close enough to him to where he can almost get his hands on him, and then he wants to fall back. All right, so it's as he's climbing, all right, he'll work that A gap and be ready to fall back, C, and onto the ball. So he is a wheel linebacker by definition. It's A gap to C gap, all right, to the ball. Now, why is he doing that? Okay, here's why. Okay, as he's looking at it, his key read, all right, and I'm gonna draw him in blue. He started here, right? When he sees all that's happening, that Sam is being real physical, point of attack, 5 tech, C gap, make sure he's got a wall there. See, he's gonna feel that Mike backer go fast to the B gap, guard come off, nose tackle's getting activated a little bit, all right, meaning activated, meaning shoot, that double teams come off of him, he may have a chance to have a little bit of penetration here. So his hat will show up. These guys are showing up. When a halfback sees that, natural thing for him to do is going to be to cut it back, thinking A gap, okay? With that wheel linebacker moving lateral right now, pulling that, as they're scooping or doubling up to him, all right? When he shows that, when the guard comes off, that's going to activate the 3 technique, okay? So A gap should get taken care of. Now, what some people will do is backside tackle. They'll zone that thing. They'll get the stretch out, and that backside tackle will take an angle and try to cut the 3 tech. All right. If you can cut the 3 tech and get him on the ground, then that makes the guard is able to get up on the wheel, and that creates a problem. So 3 tech has to really be alert and ready to use his hands, pad down on that tackle coming down on him. All right, staying alive, working down the line of scrimmage. Okay, so as we're drawing it up, he should become activated. We're gonna say that our 3 tech is a better athlete than an offensive tackle. Gonna use his hands, gonna make some plays. Okay, so he'll stay activated, work down the line of scrimmage. So for the wheel, it's A, and that ball bounced C gap and on out to the D gap area. C gap should be taken up by the 6 technique in, using his hands, get some knockback, taking that C gap. So that ball should have to wind all the way back, okay, all the way back outside that 6 technique defensive end, okay, all the way back outside that 6 technique defensive end. Now, what does that do? That also buys some time, okay? That also buys some time for who? For our safety, okay? As that ball's winding, cutting all the way back like that, all right, it buys time. He's got his set of reads and progression that he has to go through, and that is on the snap, depending on his alignment, okay, depending on his alignment, on the snap, if he's at 10, 12 yards deep, when the ball is snapped, his read step is going to be a going to be a shuffle, 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 all right? And that'll help him get his run pass read, okay? Shuffle, shuffle, shuffle. He might even start into a back pedal. He's got to see what's happening with number one here. If number one is looking to block the corner right now, okay? He's looking to block the corner right now. Then he's flashing there. Get his eyes back into the core. All right. He sees this happening, and he's the guy that can help us running that out. Bang. Okay. All right. If it's the other way around, where you get your Z receiver now going to block the safety, the corner is working to get jam reroute. All right, and he'll get his eyes back inside immediately. If he sees run, okay, he sees run, he's the guy now that can come and help us. All right.
Hey, Hardy?
Yeah.
You got some questions in the Q&A.
Okay.
If you pop it up, it's probably better you read them than I try
Okay.
to interpret the shorthand. You got to scroll all the way down to the bottom. I think the question starts with Eugene Hamilton at 11:25. That's the first question. Can you see that?
Okay, let's see here. All right, Eugene Hamilton, can you take a wide receiver out and run heavy eye left 25 blast? Yeah, you can take a wide receiver out of, you can take a wide, yeah, you can do that. Check this out. Let's just imagine the Z receiver aligned. All right. Now the Z, based off your offensive personnel, that could be another tight end. Okay. So now you 22 personnel, that's another tight end right there. What does that do? For us, all that does is that brings that corner in tighter. All right. It tightens up the alignment of the safety. Okay. So with that formation, it's just a formation adjustment that needs to be made in cover two that helps you so that you're not off balance. Okay. All right. Good question. Good question. Let's see. Is there another question here before I move on? Was Derrick Brooks a Sam linebacker? Derrick Brooks was, as we talked about, he was a will linebacker. He was a will linebacker. All right, so he always traveled with the 3 technique. Okay.
There's one right above that as well. What are the linebackers' keys and read steps? You see that?
Okay, yeah. What are linebackers' keys and read steps? Their key for the linebackers, all 3 of them, their key is a halfback. Okay. It's the halfback primary key. From that, that's initial key, and that is the initial key read, is where the halfback is stepping. From that, we want to see the fullback, and we also have to feel what's happening in front of us with the line play. All right. If I'm the Mike linebacker and I'm in that strong zero alignment, okay, I'm keying the halfback. That's my initial key read, but I'm also seeing the fullback, and I'm also seeing kind of through that center guard, through that A gap area to my key read. All right. Great question.
Hey, Dad.
Yeah.
As for linebackers, I think the biggest thing is keying the tailback, really in any too high coverage. But what makes it easier, the fits might sound complex now, but what makes it easy is pretty much wherever the ball goes, the linebacker goes. And so you're playing 2 gaps, but so we're saying, yeah, we're playing 2 gaps, but pretty much you're not playing the second gap until the back cuts back
to the ball takes you
backside.
Yes. Absolutely. Great comment. Okay, so we've gone flow, We've gone both backs. All right. Some people call it weak flow, flood. All right. Both backs away from the tight end. Now let's talk a little bit about this. Let's talk about full back away. Oops. Let me back up. All right. Full back away, half back to the tight end now. Okay. All right. Now you'll get a double there, base block here, there. All right. Okay. And could get that climb right there. Okay. Now, most people call this a split action. Okay. Split action. Both backs right now, split it. Boom. Okay. When they do that, all three linebackers become what I call two gappers. Okay. All of them become two gappers. Because of what? Well, H2 made a great comment. Their key read is at halfback. The halfback steps here. So for the will linebacker, for him, it is a, let me change the color of my pen here. It is for the will linebacker, with this action, all right, he's thinking D gap right now, okay? Okay, for the Mike linebacker, all right, his thinking is A gap right now. Okay, and then for the Sam linebacker, all right, so Will, Mike, for the Sam, he's thinking what? B gap right now. Okay, now when the ball bends back, we've got a couple things that are going to happen here. All right, let's say that the fullback goes ahead and tries and blocks here. All right, okay. So when the ball bends, the ball would have to bend back. As it bends back, okay, the will linebacker is going to go and become, he wants to just work with where the ball is going, okay? So he's initially thinking D gap. When the ball bends back, he'll work back to A. For the Mike, so for the will, all right, D to A. For the Mike, all right, for the Mike, A back to B. All right, and then for the Sam, it's B to D gap, his side, okay? So for the Mike, all right, I'm gonna erase what's happening with the drawing for the wheel here, because we talked about him. For the Mike, it's A gap. When the ball bends back, he'll fall back to B. All right, so that's his movement, okay? And then for the Sam, it's B, and then when the ball bends back, he'll fall back to D gap. Okay, it's all predicated on the action of the back. All right, when you're seeing it live and walking through it, it just makes total sense. Okay, makes total sense. All right, so we went the basics: flow, flood, and split. Okay, now on occasion you will get fullback to the tight end, okay? Fullback to the tight end, and you'll get your halfback working away from him. All right? You'll get that action there. Okay? With that action, all right, we'll start B and then fall back A with the Mike. Okay, so Mike will be B to A. Our Sam will just, his initial thought is B gap, but he'll just track. He'll be right in there and get his read steps. He'll step. All right. And then for the will linebacker, it's more like A to C to D as the ball cuts all the way back. Okay. Great stuff. Great stuff. Great stuff. And it's all predicated on flow reads, okay? Getting your flow reads. If you can play cover two out of a stationary over front, man, you are, as an old friend of mine once said, you are cooking with gas. All right. Then when you add line movement, okay, your stunts up front, man, it makes this defense become a little bit animated. Okay. All right. So let's talk about a little bit of formation, a couple of formation adjustments. Okay. So let's say we're going to talk about this. Let's say we had fullback motion to create trips. That's the next thing coming. All right. Or fullback motion to create a 2x2. Right. That's what's coming. All right. So here, let's move on to this here. Oh man, this is good stuff. This is good stuff. Let me see if I have any questions so far. Okay, do linebackers see a line first? Read steps. No, do the linebackers see the line first? We talked about that. No, their initial key read, initial who they're looking at, that halfback read, and then working from there.
I think also
yeah.
When you'll see the halfback, and through that you'll pick up on if there is a guard pull or a T wrap or whatever, you'll pick up on that based off just keying the tailback.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Now the next thing is, if you get we haven't talked about this, and we hit this in the last webinar. If you get a puller, okay, as you're reading your key and you pick up that you got a puller in your sights, all right? If you're to the side of the puller, you're always working over the top. You're always tracking that puller, okay? And we'll get to that, all right? Are all linebackers two-gapping in 21 personnel, and the safeties aren't counted on the run, on the help in the run? What about the corners? So what we talked about so far, we're counting a little bit on the safeties and the corners, but they kind of have their hands full, right? If we go back here, let me go back here for a second. If we go back here, depending on the split, the corners can be way far away from really being a factor. All right. We want to see what we can get out of that front seven. That seven man box first. And that is, and then where we need help is when the ball gets out on the perimeter. So we want to stack up what's happening in the interior line. Okay. Make the ball have to bounce east and west. And by the time it does that, that allows us to pick up that help from a safety, okay, or even from a corner. So it's not an immediate fit for the corners and the safeties, because we're going to buy them some time. We're telling them, hey, the corners, for example, we're telling, hey, you got a tough job. You got to jam and reroute a number one receiver. Okay, we want to, main thing for us, so the corners and safeties are playing pass first. All right, the guys in the box are playing run first. Okay, so that kind of puts things into perspective for you in terms of how you're thinking here. All right, with the corners and the safeties. All right. So we're corners, jam, reroute, okay, get their eyes back inside, and then see what's happening from there, right? All right. The safeties, they got the read steps. They may get into a shuffle. All right. They got to peek out to see what's happening with the number one receiver. Okay. Because with all that we're talking about with the run game, if number one just runs a go route, they think they're running a corner off. They might think you're in man coverage and think, hey, we can get the corner out of there by just running him off, right? The corner's going to jam, hinge, and sink, or jam, hinge, get his eyes back inside. If he sees us run, he knows right now that he's the guy that can help in the run game. The safety has remained as deep as the deepest. Okay, he just can't run out of there. Otherwise, man, that's you get one of those. You get a strong play action, and the ball's going over the top of us. So in order to prevent that, those guys, the safeties, are playing pass first. All right, the corners are thinking pass first. Now you can make a call. You can set up in your system as one of your adjustments, as one of your game plan adjustments, to have that corner. Hey, he's playing a hard corner. We want him to show up in the run right now. Okay, you might want the corner to the single receiver side to show up in the run game. Okay, you may want that corner right there to be a primary force in the run game, and you might want to look at, when you're game planning, do you want to do it to a single receiver side? Do you want to do it to
nub side,
run strength, whatever side? Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so I think when you want to play with a hard corner is bunches, clusters, nubs, those sort of things where they can get their run pass read very fast.
Yes, absolutely. Good stuff. Okay, we are at 11:51. Man, this has gone way too fast. Man, we are. So I'll dip into. Why don't we dip into trips? Okay, let's talk real quick. Okay, I promise I'll go fast. Okay, if anybody has an issue with time, I apologize, but
Well, we're going to be sending out the recording, so if people have to leave, they could catch it later, and if people want to stick around longer, I'm sure we could cover all the stuff. And then we could also have a separate time later with all these Q&As, so you could just take questions and answers and stuff.
Absolutely. So let's talk a little bit about okay, so we're going to go on over front versus this. So we're here, and there. Okay, so the adjustment that we make versus trips, okay, all right, is mainly with the linebackers, okay? Now, if F happens to be a wide receiver, let's say you have a different personnel group, we're talking about 11 personnel, all right, this would be your nickel, okay? If we're base, we're talking about base. This is our Will, this is our Mike, and that's our Sam, okay? Now, Will linebacker is going to take an alignment where he's splitting the difference between this number 2 and the number 3 receiver. Okay, and his key read is he wants to key the triangle, but he also has to see what number 2 is doing. Okay, if number 2 bubbles, he's got to shuffle right and take his read steps in place, not thinking going anywhere right away. This isn't one of those where you're going to snap the ball and you're going to take off. All right, this guy has to play with some patience out in space. Okay, so he'll take his read steps in place, and then he will, if he gets a bubble, he'll work lateral with it right now. In case if it is a bubble, corner's going to force it, and he's the inside out runner. If he's coming to block him right now, he's going to go dip in and win outside right now, and he can get that going. He coming to block me right now. We're going to trigger. We're going to make it happen. And then for the Mike, so the seam player is a D to E gap player versus run, and we're talking about, all right, with the halfback headed in that direction. Now, based off of the, you might have the answer to this one, H2. All right, we get the what type of action is this?
That is the flow.
That's
action.
flow action. All right, you already got your fullback here, and now your halfback is going in that direction. That's flow action. Okay, so flow action tells a Mike linebacker, I'm gonna get to D gap right now. Okay, so I'm working lateral, working towards D gap. Ball shows up, I show up. All right. For the Sam, all right, the Sam who's a stack B, Mike is stack A, Sam stack B. Sam who's a stack B linebacker is gonna think I'm working the A gap right now. Okay. Now let's take it one step further. Let's say it's zone and this thing is cutting back right now. All right. Could cut back A gap. Okay. Could cut all the way back B gap. That would mean the Mike backer go D back to A. Sam backer work A back to B. All right. That's a trips run fit versus a flow run. Now, let's talk about if it were a, all right, now we're talking about fullback is to the tight end, halfback is way. We call that what? We call that a flop run. It's a form of split action, right? Okay. That being said, the Sam backer is B gap, okay? And he's got to be heavy B gap. He cannot run out of there. Can't think, oh, I thought I saw him cut back and I'm going to A gap right now. No. He's got to go right now. He's got to think B gap because they're going to be zoning up. If he falls back too soon, guess where that ball is going? Vroom, right through that gap. Okay. So he is a B gap player. All right. Tell him be heavy B gap. For the Mike, A gap, and they'll be working like this. Okay. A gap. And if the ball clears that A gap to bounce all the way back, he'll use his hands and fall back. And by that time, so you have your Mike working. Let's say the guard gets up and he cuts off the Mike. All right, the will backer, depending on the split, well, he's a D to E gap player. If he has a wide split by that number 2 and he can beat him and get to the ball, beat him and get to the ball. Right? We're gonna tell them to be football players, not robots out there. All right, but as this ball winds back, it gives a safety a chance to get a run pass read, figure out what's happening, and he can be a guy, as secondary alley player to fit up in there for us.
I think the biggest thing is especially for the Mike and the Sam, that to first of all key the back and not run up in the gap and use your hands. If you do step up, make sure you're using your hands so that you can be a player in both ways if the ball comes back.
Because the philosophy is this: you want to work lateral to give the illusion for the guard that's climbing up, both guards for that matter. You want to give the illusion that you're in that B gap. Okay. Once they see opposite color flash across their face into that gap area, they gotta climb, they gotta come off, right? So want to work lateral. All right, ball cuts back, then we come back. So it's almost we're mirroring the movements of the ball carrier. Good stuff. Okay, we'll get this last piece here, and then.
Hey, Hardy, does Hardy Jr. want to be on video? His name just pops up whenever he speaks. Maybe you could
pop up your video.
Yeah, so people could see him.
Okay, now let's talk a little bit about. Let's hit a 2x2 formation. Okay, and everybody loves this. As a matter of fact, maybe we should go back. No, we'll hit the run rules first, and then we'll come back and we'll talk about gun stuff. All right. I know we're running way over time here. We're in overtime today, fellas. It's just the ball game just got extended on us. All right. Let's say we have that. Go back there. There. See a receiver here. And this will be the last piece, and then whatever we don't get today, we will pick up on. We're going to be on next week, so we will next Thursday. Same bat channel. All right. We may adjust the bat time, but same bat channel. All right, and we'll get after it. But anyway, this is versus 2x2 now. Corner, strong safety, free safety. Okay, now we got your over front, over two. We've made a call to get the line aligned, close left. Now the linebackers have to slide the other way. Okay. On the previous play, we had the fullback here, trips. Okay. Now he's aligned away from it. So, all right. So guess who has to make that adjustment? It is our Sam linebacker. Our Will linebacker remains in his 10 alignment. Our Mike linebacker can remain in his strong 0 alignment. Now, in some instances, if you get gun, for example, all right, let's say you get you've got gun here and back is offset here, you may want to adjust to a weak 0 with the mic and a stack B gap with the wheel linebacker. Okay, for your inside zone stuff to get these guys closer to where they may actually have to end up fitting. Okay. All right. So with the Sam, his alignment is splitting the difference between this number 2 receiver and this in-man line of scrimmage offensive tackle. All right. So you're going to be halfway between them at normal linebacker depth, which we said, toes at 4.5, right? From there, his key read is going to be, he has to see number 2, all right? Okay? So, the 2 trains of thought, eyes on number 2, then once the ball snapped, eyes back inside, okay? Or it's more of a periph number 2 and see that triangle or get that triangle read. All right, actually I should draw that the other way. There, right? Get that triangle read. Okay, so 2 trains of thought. I like kind of getting that triangle read and feeling, and then once you've gotten that initial key read, then let's figure out what number 2 is doing. Okay. And again, if he bubbles right now, guess what the Sam has to do? He should work a lateral, read steps as you can, slide lateral with it. Okay. If he comes to block him right now, go ahead and trigger. Now, where is he going to trigger? The 5-tech defensive end is a C-gap player. Okay. All right. Where he would have to trigger, it's more likely going to be into the B gap area. Okay. All right. Do we need him right away? No. Okay. Now, with all that's going on here, if they're in gun, okay, if they're in gun and you get this kind of action, any kind of stepping to that, to us, that is split action. Boom. Why? Because fullback is away from the tight end, halfback is stepping to the tight end. Okay, so split action, the normal run reads for the Will and the Mike, Will linebackers thinking D, back to A, Mike is thinking A, and back to B. With this, I like having a couple trains of thought with your 5 technique defensive end, because most teams will have we'll have this guy climb, they'll zone, all right? And he's probably going to be looking more, the center as he climbs up, is probably going to be looking more for the Mike who's showing A gap first. All right, zone here, zone there. And this ball coming back in there. The 5 tech, like him, squeezing that hip, staying square, and taking a dive. All right.
Get a piece of the tackle too.
Yeah, get a piece of that. Boom, get a piece of the tackle, staying square, moving those feet into the B gap area. I've also seen this guy even make, as this ball's going, headed towards A gap, I've seen this guy squeeze and make that play in there. All right. So we want to squeeze with the 5. All right. Staying square. Some people call it surfing. Stay square, working down the line of scrimmage. What should happen now, all right, is when the quarterback's reading that, he's squeezing hard, he should pull it. Okay, he should pull it. Now, by the time that happens, the Sam linebacker should have gotten a nice read. I know I said B, if it's stationary, let's say quarterback under center, halfback in the dot, he'd be thinking B gap. But if it's option read, he's got a little different progression here. All right, he'll get his run pass read. All right, if number 2 is kind of coming to block him, he can trigger right now. But if it's option read, he's got to think as he's triggering, he's going to the quarterback. Going to the quarterback. Okay, because your Mike, the tackle on this veer block, they cut off as he's working to fall back. He probably get cut off by the tackle. All right. The will linebacker will be the wild card here as he's working back A gap. Okay, and then on to the ball. We should also have enough time with this to pick up a nice run pass read for the free safety and maybe even get him involved late. Okay. All right. So we'll stop right there, fellas. All right. Ladies and gentlemen. I shouldn't say fellas, ladies and gentlemen. All right, because we do have some female coaches on. Thank you for coming on, and I hope this has been pretty educating for you. So what we'll do is we're going to be on next week, like I said earlier, same bat channel. We'll check the time, might adjust the time just a little bit if it's good for everybody. If you could, in your comments, we'll send you an email getting your if you can give me some good feedback, especially on the time, that will be great, and we'll move on from there. Okay, so with that.
And we could go through some of the questions people have left, and we'll send out an email with some thoughts and stuff if you want to do that. We could do that as well.
Yeah, we can do that as well.
Nice follow-up. All right.
Yeah. Next week's topic, we'll finish up next week. We'll finish up what we have for this week. And then, of course, we'll transition into play action passes and RPOs. Oh, yes. Wait till you hear that. The play action pass RPO piece. I do want to let you know please go and follow me on Twitter at Cover2Guru, Facebook, Cover2Guru, Instagram. Feel free to send me an email. And I have a bunch of, I know everyone's sitting at home, you're looking for drill work for linebackers and your rush ends, all right? We've got some really good work on Elite Athletes TV, so feel free to go check that out. Give me some clicks on that, man. Appreciate it. Pass it on to your colleagues, and it's some really good teaching material, not only for football but for all the major sports and volleyball as well, softball. So it's got all the sports included on this website. So that being said, Val, are we all done?
Yeah, I think we're good.
Okay. Well, guys, thank you for tuning in. It's been nothing but fun, man. I love doing this. Love talking ball, man. Hit me up. Go to my website. I do have clinics available. If you want to sit and talk for 30 minutes on some stuff, we can do that. You can sign up for 2 spots. You could do an hour. We can do an hour. So feel free to chime in. Thank you, H2, for being on with me.
Oh yeah, awesome. It was awesome.
Being that special guest for me.
Mm-hmm.
How about that? That's pretty cool. All right, man. Well, until next week, hey, let's chat it up. If you like what you saw, man, feel free to go on Twitter and hit me up or leave a comment for me. We'll go from there. Like I said last time, whenever I break a meeting, it's like being in the huddle. All right, we got in the call. Everybody's got the call. We about to go out and do something. What do? Ready and break. All right. So that being said, this episode is officially in the books, and we will ready and break. See you next time.